Hi everyone, super excited about today's video. I'm sitting down with Crystal Minichino from A Touch of Heaven farm. It is amazing. We are traveling. They open up their home to guests that are full like that are RVing, and they have a farm of goats and pigs and chickens in Central Florida, and they're also a longtime friend of our family, and we love them to death. And this is going to be for them. We are going to be sitting down with Crystal, who is a new entrepreneur who we have been coaching for the last couple years, helping her get started and helping her get the basics done right, and then also helping her with the next steps going forward. So again, super excited about this video. Hope you love it. Hope you have a lot of enjoyment out of it and you learn a couple things along the way. Here is Crystal Minichino. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for finally suffering through the first setup of our new. This is our new interview series, right? Where we want to interview business owners and get to know them, get to know your business, and see how we can help. So for this one's a little different because obviously we've been friends for a long time now, and when you first had a business idea, we started kind of nudging you in a direction, and maybe let's start there and see how what we told you a couple years ago have played out today.
My name's Crystal. We sold our house from South Florida a couple years ago, and we just got a really great opportunity. We were able to buy a 7-acre farm, and I came here with my husband, and I had a vision that my husband didn't really see at first, but I did see. And it's a beautiful property. So I wanted to raise animals, but I also wanted to turn it into an Airbnb. There's a power pole. And so we turned it into kind of like an RV camping Airbnb, along with raising animals and also living on the land. That was the dream, to live on the land and also turn it into a business that would also help us sustain our little piece of heaven.
Awesome. Well, yeah, perfect. And what's the name of your farm?
A Touch of Heaven farm.
Touch of Heaven Farm.
Yeah.
Love it. So tell us the road. Let's go back to, I think it's been a couple years now
Yeah.
when we had those initial conversations.
Yeah.
Let's go back if we can. What was some of that initial piece of guidance that we gave you that you really appreciated having early?
So it was really great. So I appreciate you so much, because I was just like a kid with a dream, but I didn't really have any business sense or the numbers and kind of just all the things that go into a business. I just had this dream and the thing that I could see. And so you were so helpful at first, because you like gave me practical application for the first steps of our business. Like, first thing, get a business card. This is how you have to file for your business. Start here. You gave me advice on just like pricing, the different ways that I could advertise, the different ways that I could get extra income in business, going to other businesses around me. So we started building something. You also gave me great advice, because I had so many different ideas of all the different things that I could do with this land. And so you also gave me ideas on start with these different things and then kind of take inventory, get your numbers. What is actually what I think you called it the like let your business tell you which direction it's pulling you in. What's pulling, out of the pigs, the goats, the chickens, the land rental. After you do that, go towards what is pulling, what is making more, what is easy and making you money, and then go from there. So that was really great advice, and lots of other things, just like numbers and things like that. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us about your journey over the last couple of years and some of the things that you did early. Maybe give some wins. Like what started working for you?
Well, one of the things I know, that was another thing you helped me with. You kind of have to decide, like, what's the goal and what is the direction you wanted. And even like me and my husband disagreed at first, in the sense he has big goals and he's big minded, and it doesn't matter if he was going to spend a bunch of money. And my goals were a little different. I didn't necessarily want to start with a huge business idea that I was throwing a bunch of money into first. I was okay with starting a little local business that maybe grew from there. And so one of the strategies that I think worked the best was I waited for the business to start growing before I threw any money into it. And I waited for the land and the animals and the things I was doing. And first to see if it was even a good idea. Because if I just started and I bought all this stuff and it wasn't even a good idea, I didn't want to go that route. So as things started picking up and selling, then I would invest. And I really haven't invested anything yet. The first goal was, can I sustain the costs of this business with what I'm doing? And if I can do that, then the next step is, okay, let's turn this into a profit business. And if that goes the way it needs to, then I can start investing. My big thing was I wanted a business that was going to grow on its own and I wasn't dumping a lot of money.
Awesome. So one thing that I've really appreciated watching you grow into this new entrepreneur over the last couple of years is just your willingness to take action, right? So many people have information, but there's not a whole lot of people that actually take action on it. And you and Anthony's ability to be able to have both a strategy, a plan, and commitment to it and see it through, that's something that is worth cheering. And I say that's awesome. It's really awesome to see where you guys are at right now. So let's talk about what is working practically in your business.
So we rent out kind of like an Airbnb for campers and RVers. That's been working out amazingly. It's also very simple. Like they just come hook up. I also didn't mention I'm a homeschool mom. And so I need stuff that is easy and that I can still take care of my family and do all the things. So that's been super simple because it's hands off. They come, and then I have a lot of products from the farm that I sell. And I do different food or items that are available depending on the season. And then my other awesome income is the animals themselves. I have goat milk, I have goat cheese, I breed and sell the goats. I'm starting to breed and sell pigs. So those are the two big ones. The animals and the RV.
And what came first in your sequencing?
The animals came first.
Animals came first.
Yeah.
Why did you make the decision to make the animals come first?
Well, some of them were already here and we had to have them start doing something. But the animals were also the easiest way to start learning something and start doing very just small, easy business and start with that. Because the other thing that I needed to know is, can I do this? Can I learn the animals? And it worked out good. And it was I guess, the low risk and easy. If it didn't go good, we could start over and do something else.
Okay, perfect. And then, so then you got the animals, you got goats, and you got pigs. And then what was the next step?
The next step was just getting a couple of things ready for the RV spot and kind of looking. That's another thing you helped me with, looking at like logistically what that would look like, if we were comfortable with that as a family, what site we were going to list our home on, because it is our home that we're inviting people into, what area. So I guess just setting up what an RV rental would look like, what would work and not work for our family, and if it was doable, and if it was even something that people were interested in before we went live.
And how long have you now been renting the RV spots?
I think about a year and a half.
And what did you see? What did you find that worked? Like, when did it start? How did it start? Did it start all coming at once? Was it pretty gradual in the beginning? Like, what was that process like?
Well, at first we were like, okay, maybe this isn't a good idea because it was not like there was nothing. I think we had like one renter in like 6 months or a year, maybe like a couple renters. And there was a couple things. I don't know if we had to kind of get vetted with the site, but we just waited and there wasn't really anything. And again, if it didn't work, it wasn't a loss. Like we put it up there. If it, didn't work, we weren't losing anything on it. But then the following year, I think maybe 6 to 8 months later, it just like blew up. But what I will say worked, because we were like, okay, we want to get good reviews and we want people to be able to see our property and come here and have an awesome time. And so just being able to really talk to people and just I love my guests. So talking to people, serving them, hanging out by the campfire, like that was the thing that really worked. Because after one person came, and I could even see people coming to like meet certain animals or tell us, oh, this is why we came, and all the pictures on the site. So I think really just getting the people here so I could give them the service that we were trying to give them and they could see what was here. That's what started getting like traffic in.
Awesome. So customer reviews were huge. Absolutely. And listening to your customers was another big thing that sets you apart. And that's when you started listening to them, that's when you started to really take off. Does
Yeah.
that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's almost like I had to get people here first so they could have the experience, because you can't give an experience from a couple pictures on a website. So yeah.
So I really love that strategy because what you did was you controlled your risk entering the new market space that you needed to test your offer with. So you picked a platform, you posted your stuff, but you didn't you didn't spend, right? You didn't overspend, you didn't start spending money on trying to get people into the door. You allowed your risk was so low because of it didn't cost you anything to advertise, right?
Yeah.
So you were basically kind of available, but an aggressive patient is what we'd call it, right? So you're aggressively patient, where as you're waiting for things to happen, you were building, right? Because you still had the farm, you had the
Yeah.
animals, like you were still working on your core, right? You were still working on that brand. So in the meantime, you waited, started getting people in, and then you started with listening to the customers and engaging with them to get those reviews. So I think that was such a great strategy. And I think that's something that everybody can really take a page out of your book here, because that is absolutely so hard to do as an entrepreneur when you're first starting. It is so hard because, I mean, a piece of my history, I started like most people do, is I built a business. I built a product. My first business, I built a product that I didn't ask anybody if they wanted it. I built a business thinking that I'm going to build it and somebody's going to come buy it because it's amazing. Product was amazing, but nobody bought it because I didn't listen to the customers. Whereas you actively engaging with them on a real level, you engage with them as people, not just customers, but as people, right? And that is very evident that how packed and how busy your space is. So awesome. I love it. So now let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about what your goals are for the business from here. Where do you want to go from here?
So eventually, I just couple different places. Like the goal now is we've started doing a little updating. And so I definitely want to now invest money in updating and growing the farm and like making it beautiful the way I see it in my mind. But eventually, I possibly want it to be like a farmer's market bed and breakfast, which it already like is kind of, but it's just like the humble beginnings of that. And we also have a house on property. When the kids get older, the vision I see in my head is this just becoming a bigger bed and breakfast where the house can be rented. There's RV spots that can be rented, and I can still serve and do all the things on the farm for people that come.
So the goal here is to create a a bed and breakfast. So you want to up the customer experience, right?
Yeah.
You want to have a better customer experience for the people coming
Yeah.
here. You want to be able to provide them with niche products, right? Consumable products or other product lines that they can't get anywhere else except here,
Yeah.
because they're made here in locally or at your farm.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what ideas do you currently have that you're thinking about exploring?
So I definitely like right now we offer products on our farm that are like just on our farm that I make, but I do want some sort of by the road like stand setup. So it's not just for the customers that come stay, but there's also a place for local people to come by to our store. I really would like to see to some sort of restaurant, or even if it's like a weekend or an event that's hosted here, but that I get to, or even like a food truck on site. These are some of the ideas that I want to add on to what we're already doing, because I love cooking and serving, because that's the other thing. Anything on the farm that they're getting, I'm the one cooking, I'm the one doing it. And so however I can expand that into restaurant, or maybe a weekend place where the doors open to serve some people farm fresh meals, something like that. That's some of the ideas I've had.
Okay, love it. So let's expand on this a little bit more. The first goal that we want to have, like to get to this bed and breakfast, to get to this farmers market idea, are we making enough money to reinvest back into this business? Or right now, is this at a point where we need to think about how to maximize revenue first?
That's definitely the first thing. Like, I feel like
Okay.
now that I'm starting to get somewhat of a customer base, that the next goal is like that, because I can't do what I want to do with right now. We have just gotten to a place where we can sustain the farm, and hopefully this year we're making
Mhm.
profit. But that definitely needs to change in order for me to do the things I want to
Okay. So in business, there's pretty much the two levers that you can pull on upping revenue is you can get more customers or you make your current customers worth more money. So let's ask you this question. Price rate that you're at right now, do you have room in the marketplace to go more expensive with your reputation yet?
do. I think I could go a little more. That's kind of why I want to do the updating because I think I could go more now, but if I do some of the things I want to do, definitely.
Okay, so we should look at that first, right? Because that's the easiest lever to pull is just to start raising your prices, right?
Yeah.
Let's raise your prices maybe. And what is your inflow of customers maxing out your demand or maxing out your capacity yet?
Like for customers.
Okay, so we need to do two things. We need to probably see how we can get more customers or raise your prices first. But which one do you want to target? Do you want to raise prices first or do you want to try to get more customers first? What makes you more comfortable?
It's kind of hard because there's like a couple months where I feel like we were maxed out because the way the season falls, it's on and off. So there are a couple months where if I had a way to get more people in here, there was like people wanting to come that I had to turn away. But for other months, it's not like that. So I think maybe just making the prices a little more. I've even had customers tell me like you should be charging more for what you're offering. But I don't think it's that much more yet.
Did you raise your prices at all during peak season, since you just said that your business actually tends to be seasonal?
Well, next year I will, because this is the first year we've even gotten to really see peak season. Because remember, the first year was like so slow. And so
Yeah.
this is our
Yeah.
first taste of like, okay, this is a full year of us actually getting real customers.
Okay. So I think that should be that's a good place to start is just canvassing that idea of like, all right, we know peak season is, when's peak season? When is
It started in like January, February until now. It just
January, February to March, April,
Yeah.
essentially end of
Yeah.
April. Okay. So let's target raising prices for this part, right? For January to April through April next year.
Yeah.
We're going to raise prices for you. The next thing though is how do we fill and keep flow coming when end season is not peaked, right? So offering a price reduction or what can we do to get them in the door? Like what other levers can you pull? Do you have anything with who is your provider right now for your platform that you're using?
Harvest Hosts and Hip Camp. Well,
Okay.
yeah, we have a camper that's for rent and then RV sites. So those are our two sites.
Okay. And do they allow any type of advertising on their sites or is it just that you're available?
It's just that I'm available. I don't advertising. I'd have to check, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. So here's what I would like to start doing then. I'd like you to we need to start getting you more exposure. And so what I would say is probably one of the easiest levers that you also could pull in getting more exposure is leveraging social media, both Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, at telling people your story and what it is that you have to offer here, but also what the town has to offer, right? With some effort, it's not effortless, but with minimal effort, you can start getting exposure and then drive traffic to your site on Harvest Host. Is there a way that you can get a link that just goes to your site?
Someone was telling me that, and I'm learning. I'm very tech savvy, but I'm
Okay.
learning. But somebody was just telling me there's a way that you can do that, and the sites might provide that too. They're like they might give you a link that goes straight there. Because the other thing you had asked, and the other thing I would say is that I have been thinking is how do I get our name and what's available in other places? Because right now it's just whoever sees Harvest Host or Hip Camp, and I think that's part of the problem. If I could have our information out somewhere else, but I'm also very like there's a certain niche of people that Harvest Hosts and Hip Camp offer us. And again, this is my home. So that's my other thing. I want to be very wise in how I advertise.
I think using HipCamp and Harvest Host primarily as your booking page is probably going to be best because otherwise you're going to have to take on that administrative burden, right? Of scheduling people. You're going to have to link calendars. You're going to have to they're going to have to reach out to you and schedule appointments. They have the link thing. Everything goes through them, right? So I wouldn't say let's increase your administrative burden here yet.
No.
I think the things that I think at this point, because you know that this is successful and people are telling you that this is good, you want to do more of following and listening to customers. do more of that. And so in your strategy for how, okay, I want to invest in this XYZ, right? I want to invest in a paved sidewalk. I want to invest in some shrubbery. I want to invest in more maybe garden material. Like I would say, talk to the customers, all the customers that keep coming through here. Ask them all in their conversation as you're having this interview and just be like, hey, what would make this an 11 out of 10 experience for you? And get them to tell you what they want to see here, right? Is it a paved concrete pad for their camper? Is it going to be a wider fence? Is it going to be more lighting? Is it going to be adding water? Is it going to be, what do your customers really want that are going to be willing to pay more money for? Get that information and get a lot of it. As everybody comes through, as you're having those conversations, just keep doing what you're already doing, which is listening to your customer. So I would definitely caution you against just starting to make upgrades and improvements because you think it's a good idea. I would say try to fight that urge, right? Unless it's something you want. Like if it's something that you want and you would love to see it, then by all means, that's different because this is your home. It's not just a business. I would try to do as much as possible, refrain from making business decisions with your capital and doing things that your customer doesn't see necessary. If your customer doesn't really care about it, then you shouldn't either from a business perspective. So if that makes sense, just listen to what they're telling you they want to see to make this a better experience in the short run, right? And then start by doing the things that they're asking for. Do those things, invest money in those things. That would be the place to start, right? But longer term, right, it's establishing a brand. You need to probably start thinking about your brand of a piece of heaven farm, right? How does that look like? What does that look like? What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known as the goat farmer, the pig farmer? Do you want to be known as, goat milk? Do you want to be known as for pork? Do you want to be known for a great campfire story? Like, what do you like? What is the essence of a piece of heaven farm to you?
Well, I still am like, I just really want people to come here and have a great experience. I think maybe not necessarily just the campfire. I don't know. Like, I know that I have these animals and I may be the goat lady. I definitely want people to always say, wow, I ate the most delicious food there and I had the most delicious things there. I don't know. I can't pinpoint one, but I'd have to think about that. I don't know.
There's a great book. Because of how much you love hospitality, I would recommend reading Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. It is a fantastic book that you will probably absolutely love. And you're going to say, wow, this makes a lot of sense to me. Because it sounds like, because in his book, he was writing about high-end restaurant, right?
Okay.
And how his core value for his company was unreasonable hospitality and everything they did at the restaurant to get it from a 2 Michelin star to a 3 Michelin star and then ranked the world's best restaurant was
Wow.
was to make it all about the experience because everybody has great food at that level, but what sets them apart was the experience of how his restaurant people made each customer feel in that experience.
But that's exactly what I want. And like, even when I come here, I love the stories. But I want everything. I want people to leave here and want to come back because they just had that feeling, that experience that I feel like I'm at home. I had great food. I was with great people and I just want to come back. And I feel like that's the most special out of any experience, right? Like I could have the best goat or the best pig, but if somebody comes here and they're like, okay, there wasn't anything personal about it. You just explained what I would want to sell. Yeah.
I would say read that book and really think about the philosophy that he sets out and really think about making unreasonable hospitality a core value of what it is that a piece of heaven farm is all about. Absolutely. Like that sounds like exactly what it is that you're trying to create. And you'll get a lot of inspiration from reading it. And I think that would be a great place for you to also next steps of immediately let's read this book, let's figure out what that means because from there you want to start building a brand, right? You want to start building a reputation around what it means to come to a piece of heaven farm. And then you need to take control of the narrative in your marketing by having that consistent message where people get to see you, whether it's through, maybe you're videotaping, maybe you ask your guests if they'd be okay to do a little help you make some promotional material. Maybe you give them free cookies or you provide a meal for them if they let you post a video to help with that stuff. So it's I think moving in a direction where you're kind of more present online in the right places to help get people aware of who you are, what you want to offer, and build that brand recognition. So I think that's probably going to be the next steps for you, right? The first immediate step, we need to price structure in a way that gets people in the door in the off season, but then raise your premium in the peak season, right? So you can maximize revenue. You need to focus on your customer base, listen to them, and see what it is that they're asking for to up their own experiences, right? See what it is. Maybe it could be as simple as giving them a map of the town, right? Giving them a map of the town or giving them times when different things are happening. Maybe it's keeping them updated on local events. Maybe it's giving them information on the river. Where can they find the right information for scheduling the tubing or the kayaking or whatever it is they're here for, right? How can you make their vacation experience that much easier for them? Maybe it's something simple like that doesn't cost you any money. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. And then as more customers come in, more revenue comes in, then you have the ability, because this is your home, you get to touch it up however you want to how do it to really wow people as they walk through the door,
Yeah.
right? But I don't think you need to go right to spend money on the wow.
Yeah.
I think it's do what you're already doing, just do more of it,
Yeah.
which is listen. You're a great listener. Just keep listening. And they're gonna pull you in that direction of where you need to go. So that would be the next one. And then read the book Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. Read that book, get some inspiration there, and then let's start talking about building a brand and what that looks like for A Piece of Heaven Farm, right? And creating a YouTube channel, creating an Instagram account, creating a Facebook account, and just start. And it doesn't even have to be like, you don't have to try to fabricate anything. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
You just want to be authentic.
Too.
Yeah, you just want to try to be authentic about who you are and how you came here. Like, what's your backstory? How did you get here? Who is Crystal, right? And what is A Piece of Heaven Farm? And then it's even easier when you can show the different guests that keep coming through, right? You show different people, or you have different testimonials about how great time they are, but not just having those testimonials on the platforms that are supporting you, but having them visually out there in the public where they can search you and say, this is where I'm going. Oh, wow, this looks super cool. I want to go there. Now I'm excited about coming to see Crystal. And then when they show up, you wow them with the experience doing what you're already doing. I think that sounds like this is like the next. I really think this is awesome because also from here, like if you look at some of the bigger farms that have brands, right? What do they do that helps drive revenue streams, right? Other things that you could start even piecing together. Again, I don't want to say like start with this, but because I do think that you're at a point where you can still do the core of what it is that your people are driving here for, but also start to think about these bigger farms. What they do a lot of is merchandise, right? They've got hoodies, they've got t-shirts, they've got coffee mugs, they've got stickers, they've got magnets, they've got pen, whatever, things to give away, maybe a basket, like a wicker basket full of soaps. They've got, different types of merchandise, but it's all got their logo. Everything has their logo, everything has their brand, and it's all speaks to what they are. Well, it's going to be, super nice, super niche stuff. Like it's going to obviously be farm style, home farm style, but maybe adding a touch of Florida in there, right? There's a Floridian farm style that's unique and different than like say a North Dakota farm, right?
Yeah.
They're not the same type of farm, but they're both very unique. So, this is kind of where you can start to think about as you're building into a bed and breakfast, a better experience, you can start to fold in these smaller, different merchandise items that are going to have your logo. And then as that starts to get circulated, as more and more customers come in, they're going to start to recognize you, right? They're going to start to recognize your brand. So that's stuff that you can also build towards, right? And you can ask your customers too. Ask them, do you tend to collect coffee mugs? Do you collect anything? If so, would you like a t-shirt? Do you like hoodies? Do you like hats? Do you like glasses? Do you know, what is it that you guys like? And again, listen to the customers about what it is that they tend to purchase as a keepsake, right? What is the thing that they would love to take from here? You know, that would be a great place to start. What is it that they would love to take away from their vacation experience here in
Yeah.
Dunnellon, right? What would that be? What is it?
Yeah, yeah. And that one it's a little makes me a little wary because like I know that we're not necessarily this big operation and that's me. I feel like down the road, even if it was like a little lean-to, like I'm thinking of my husband just building a little lean-to where there's an actual physical store. Because that's the other thing that's hard right now. And everybody gets a bunch of stuff, but it's still stuff that I'm bringing out without, like some people will even ask, oh, it says a little farmer's market, but my farmer's market is just whatever you order from me. And so the cups and the hats and all that, because some people have suggested that too, but I feel like all those things have to be in place before I go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. That's why I'm saying it's just all I'm doing is planting the seed
Yeah.
in the back of your head.
Yeah, no,
Like
it's
that's where
great.
those are the things that you can help drive revenue stream later once you
Yeah.
continue to have more brand awareness. But you have to start with letting people know about your story, about what you offer, and then keep doing that well. It's just keep doing the basics well for a while, right? If you get another year under your belt doing what you're doing, but just doing more of it, you're going to get good
Yeah.
doing that. And
Yeah.
you're going to know your customers, like you're going to know who comes here, who are the people that come here, and then give them the experience that they want, not necessarily what you want to give them,
Yeah,
right?
actually helped me with that, but I very much am, and it's funny because some of the reviews are like, Crystal is aiming to please, because I'll make sure that I talk, I ask questions. You've given me more questions now to ask and like get in there, but I want to know, right? Because and I have different guests. Like I'm very aware that some people come here, they don't want to talk, like they're coming here to take a break. I read the room and I'm like, okay, these people just want to hang out on the farm and be left alone and all is well. And some people want to hang out by the campfire and talk all night. But I very much try to get in there as much as I can because this isn't about me. If I give you what I want, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
So, but you gave me some really, really good questions that I haven't asked. So yeah.
Awesome. So let's break it down. Let's just review.
Okay.
So we talked about next steps. We want to build towards a bed and breakfast with a unique farmers market experience.
Yes.
But in the immediate, so that's like our 5-year plan, right? In the next short-term plan, what we need to do, one, is you're going to read Will Guidera's book, Unreasonable Hospitality, to get some more inspiration about how he executed on that one core value, right? Because I think that's going to be a lot of what you're trying to achieve. So let's start by reading what he says about it. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to assess your pricing structure. And if it's off season, try to adjust your pricing structure to keep revenue coming in and see where that sweet spot is, right?
Okay.
So if you start at the price point you're at now, if that's not working or you're not getting enough flow, try adjusting it down a little bit to see if you can't give maybe a discount, right? Maybe a discounted price for off season, right? Because maybe it is a little hot in Florida. People aren't traveling as much either, but maybe this can be a good destination stop. So we can adjust that price structure to match the seasonality of the business.
Yeah.
And you don't call it an adjustment, you call it a discount. It's a sale. And so everything, make it a sale price of summer sale, right? Come here, enjoy the summer, better discount, better price than you can get in the peak season. But this is still a great place to come in the summer. Come enjoy the springs. It's super nice here. This water is super still cold, and it's a great place to hang out, right? So that's one thing, just keep driving. We need to get more traffic, more foot traffic in the door. So we try to use the price lever to maximize the value. The other thing is we need to start getting people more aware of who you are, and you need to tell your story on social media. You need to create your own social media account that is going to get you more brand awareness, right? So we're going to start with what it is, touch of heaven. You're going to create your YouTube, create Instagram, create Facebook, at least start those 3, and then start just having short videos that tell your story, right? And that's something very easy to do. You're going to use AI tools like Opus Clip to, you're going to record like a 4-minute video, and Opus Clip is going to create a whole lot of different shorts for you. You're going to be able to look like a pro very quickly, right? So it's not hard. With a little bit of effort, you can go a long way now with creating content. right? And the goal is not to create some sort of big experience for people to see online. The goal is just to get people aware that you exist and you have a brand, right? Just start, because you need to build that base, right, on social. So we need to just start. And it's okay if it's not the greatest production quality in the beginning. Just start, right? And then those are the things that are going to help drive more awareness to what you do. And all of your call to actions are going to be schedule a visit or come see us on Harvest Host. Go to Harvest Host. Everything's going to go to Harvest Host so that they can schedule their time with you. And then from there, the sky's the limit. You can listen. Just as you get more people, just keep listening to them and keep getting that feedback about what would make their experience an 11 out of 10. Yeah, I'm excited to see this bed and breakfast here in a few years.
Yeah.
At A Touch of Heaven Farm. Hey everybody, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some value from it and maybe learned a couple nuggets along the way. If you did, please subscribe to this channel. Follow us for more great content in the coming weeks ahead. Thanks.